Hey guys, so today we have a little different of a setup. We're going to make a video on how to drive a car with a manual transmission, but I figured since you're watching this video, you're a beginner, and what better way to learn than watch another beginner drive the car. So I have my brother here, and he doesn't know how to drive a manual. So we figured that I'd teach him to drive a manual, and in the process, teach you guys to drive a manual. So the first thing you need to know when you're driving a manual is that the brake is always going to be stronger than the gas and the engine. So if you're ever in a situation where you're losing control of the car, you don't know what to do, just hit the brakes. The car will stop. If the car's in gear, the engine will shut off, but the brakes will always stop the car even when the car's in gear. So to start the car, you want to put your foot on the clutch, which is the pedal all the way to the left, and you want to use your left foot for that. You need to use your left foot on the clutch, push it in, make sure the car is in neutral, and you know it's in neutral when the stick goes back and forth. If it was forward and can't go back and forth, then you're in gear. If you're in neutral, it'll be able to go back and forth. So you want to press the clutch and then hit the start button. So because the car's in neutral, now you can let go of the clutch, and the car's not going to go anywhere. So the first thing you want to do to get the car rolling is to press the clutch in with your left foot, hold the brake with your right foot, and then you're going to take, in my case, the parking brake is a button and not an actual lever. So when you have your foot on the brake, you can press this down, and now you can't take your foot off the brake or the car is going to roll. So you want to take the car and put it into gear. You'll see on the top of the gear shifter, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then reverse. You always want to be familiar with where the location of each gear is, and you always want to start in first, which in our case is to the left and up. Okay, put it into first. All right, so now at this point, you can take your foot off the brake, and we start to roll backwards. So put your foot back on the brake. So what you're going to want to do, because we're on a slight hill, you have to take your foot off the brake, press the gas a tiny little bit, and then slowly release the clutch over the course of like 2 seconds. So you don't want to just floor the car. I mean, now slowly release the clutch faster. Perfect. Not very smooth. Now hit the gas. Hit the gas. Now you just drive it like a, take your foot all the way off the clutch. So now you're in first gear. The hardest part of driving a manual is really just feeling it. You got to be able to feel when that engagement point is for the clutch in order to get it to be smooth. Anyone can drive a manual. It's just a matter of if you can drive it smoothly. So now take your foot off the gas and press the clutch and the brake at the same time. Press the clutch all the way, all the way. So see, in that case, he didn't push the clutch all the way and came to a complete stop. So the engine shut off. When the car's in gear and the clutch is not pressed down, the engine and the wheels are one. They're connected. They're gonna spin. If the engine's spinning, the wheels are gonna spin. If you press the brake and stop the car, well, the engine's gotta stop too because they're all connected. So you wanna put it back in neutral. He's got his foot on the brake, so we're gonna turn the parking brake on to start it. Take your foot off the brake. Now have the clutch all the way pressed in, and then start the car. So try it a few more times. Put your foot on the brake, press the parking brake off, put it in gear, and then take your foot off the brake, press the gas pedal, and then release the clutch. It's all about feeling it. So this car is actually pretty easy to drive a manual once you're going, because you can switch into second gear at around 6 miles an hour and be fine. Keep driving around. So the next thing is to shift into second gear. So we'll come up straight, make a right, just come all the way around. Okay, so now push the clutch in all the way. Take your foot off the gas, put this into second, all the way back. Now release the clutch and press the gas again. Simple as that. like I said, it's really not hard to drive a manual. It's just hard to get it to be smooth to drive a manual. Once you pull through and then come back into the parking lot, just park in the spot. And hit the clutch and the brake. And then take it out of gear, put the parking brake on. You gotta pull it. Okay, so you can take your foot off the brake now. And then you can take your foot off the clutch. How was that?
Not bad. It was easier going to second.
Yeah, once you go into second, it's a piece of cake. And once you're moving, you're not gonna stall the car unless you're going real slow. But even if the car's moving and you're in gear, the engine's gonna spin. So it idles at about 750 RPMs. If you try to switch into second gear at 4 miles an hour, you may drop it to 500 RPMs. But if you give it enough gas, it's really not gonna stall as long as it's moving. It really only stalls once you come to a complete stop and don't have the clutch pressed all the way in. Any other questions?
No.
You feel comfortable driving it again?
Sure.
Cool.
So,
Clutch in.
brake in.
Parking brake off. Put it in gear. And you just want to give it a tiny little bit of gas, like 1500 RPMs or so. And just...
Oops. A little too much.
A little too much. But that's the feeling it part. It just... The more you do it, the more you'll get comfortable trying to do it. And it's really just practicing, but it's not very difficult to actually do it. You just have to keep in mind that if the clutch is not being pressed in, then your engine is engaged to the wheels. The clutch is what disengages and engages the engine. So the main thing is just don't forget that if you're going to come to a complete stop, press the clutch in. So why don't you go around here and then make a stop in the middle and just... So why don't you come to a complete stop, put your foot on the clutch, hit it all the way in, hit the brakes, and then try and get going again. And this time when you come back, try and get into second when you come back. Try and shift into second.
So I have to put my foot on.
Foot all the way on the clutch, all the way in, pull it in second. Now release the clutch. Perfect. Hit the clutch, put it in neutral, put the parking brake on. You know how to drive a manual.